Hello everyone. The images used in our deck are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. Hello, my dear students. How are you? कैसे हैं आप लोग? So, as you all know, that we were discussing about the syllogism portion of CLAT examination and other competitive examinations. हम syllogism डिस्कस कर रहे थे जो लॉजिकल रीजनिंग का एक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट पोर्शन होता है जहाँ पे हम लोग डिफरेंट टाइप्स डिफरेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स एंड डिफरेंट जो आपके कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं syllogism के वो हम लोग डील कर रहे हैं. What we have studied so far is that the syllogism has been divided into different types. So those types have different rules and different phenomena altogether. For example, अगर हम categorical syllogism की बात करें तो वहां पे हम लोग देखते हैं कि the words that has been used are all, some or none. जब हम लोग statistical syllogism की बात करते हैं तो हम लोग वहां पे percentage का यूज देखते हैं स्टेटमेंट्स में. सो उसी तरीके से डिफरेंट सिलोगिज्म डिफरेंट मेथड्स एंड मेथोडोलॉजी पे काम करते हैं और इसीलिए इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट हाउ कैन वी डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन these type of syllogism. Based on those difference, if we are able to gather that information as to what is exactly is the difference between one type of syllogism and another type of syllogism that we've already studied. Obviously, we have already studied that. Just for your revision, just for recalling purposes, I'm telling that those differences are the main crux through which you will be able to solve syllogism without any hindrance. So, as you all know, my dear students, that we have already started practicing questions which are related to syllogism, and we have reached till question number 30. And in this particular lecture also, we are going to continue with the same procedure. We are going to solve these questions and we will be able, after solving these questions, we will be able to understand that, okay, these type of questions are majority of the time being asked in the question papers. And the principles or the method that we are going to follow whenever we are going to solve these type of questions are that first we are going to draw the Venn diagram. After drawing the Venn diagram, we will be just analyzing the diagrams as well as the statement that has been provided already. And after confirming that the Venn diagram and the statements are resonating and are complementing each other, then we will figure out whether the conclusion or the inference that has been provided in the question actually follows or not. If you can read the question again, I will just read it for you. It says that in the question below there are 3 statements. तो आप देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ पे 3 statements mention है. For your better understanding, I will just utilize one. Okay. So in this question below, there are 3 statements. There are 3 statements. यहाँ पे 3 statements लिखे हुए हैं, followed by 2 conclusions. ये 2 conclusions है. There you have to take the 3 given statements to be true, even if they seem to be at variance from the commonly known facts. ये हमने आपको already बता दिया है अपने previous lectures में कि when we are talking about these statements, so maybe ये statements आपको सही ना लगे, आपको लगे कि ये statement तो सर कोई इसका कोई मीनिंग हो ही नहीं सकता कि all fruits are vegetables. ये कैसे पॉसिबल है कि fruits vegetables हो. बट फॉर योर क्लैरिटी आई वुड लाइक टू अगेन टेल यू दैट यहाँ पे जो भी स्टेटमेंट लिखा हुआ है उसको हमारे को सत्य मानना है. वी विल हैव टू एक्सेप्ट दैट दिस इज द perfectly mentioned statement and accordingly then we will be able to solve this questions. हमारे को ये नहीं सोचना कि ये स्टेटमेंट ही गलत है. The statement is absolutely correct और इसी वजह से ये स्टेटमेंट इस प्रकार से लिखे गए हैं ताकि जो रीडर्स हैं उनके दिमाग में थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन डेवलप हो. They tend to get confused. The main aspect of solving this syllogism is to keep your mind stable and focused whenever you are solving syllogism, because these type of statement causes hindrance in your mind and confusion in your mind, and that confusion has to be overcome so that you can understand what exactly the question is saying, and accordingly you can move forward and you can figure out what the conclusion is. Okay, so my dear students, taking that thing into consideration, now I will be giving you 10 seconds to draw the Venn diagram. Again, the same pattern we are going to follow. आप लोगों को मैं 10 सेकेंड्स दूंगा. उन 10 seconds में आपको in syllogism, based on this syllogism, the statement that has been provided, you have to draw the Venn diagram, where which one circle will represent fruits, another will represent vegetables, another will represent grains, and the other one will represent pulses. And after drawing the Venn diagram, we will try to analyze कि जो आंसर्स जो हमारा वेन डायग्राम है वो स्टेटमेंट से रेजोनेट कर रहा है नहीं कर रहा. आप लोगों को मैं फिर से याद दिला दूं, आई विल स्टिल would want you to remember that the answers, that the solutions that has been provided along with these questions may or may not be true. Okay, so they can be true, they might not be true. So you have to totally apply your brain. You have to apply your brain in such a manner that you understand the question, the statement, and you draw the Venn diagram accordingly. After drawing the Venn diagram, we will analyze whether the solution that has been provided is correct or not. And after the solution has been dealt with, हम लोग जब एक conformity पे आ जाते हैं कि नहीं, ये जो वेन डायग्राम है ये एक्चुअली में स्टेटमेंट्स को कॉम्प्लीमेंट कर रहा है, then we will figure out whether the conclusions are following from those Venn diagrams or not. So my dear students, I have given you the instructions. Now it is your time to put out your pen and paper and start solving this question. Question number 30 that is in front of you. The statement has been provided. Your 10 seconds starts now. Please draw the Venn diagram. So my dear students, I suppose you have already drawn the Venn diagram. So let's now focus and let's try to figure out that whether the statements that has been provided are actually true for the statements, and the Venn diagrams are actually resonating or not. So the first statement says all fruits are vegetables. So whether this particular diagram is actually showing that all fruits are vegetables, again, this solution is not right, my dear students, and this is just to confuse you guys that this statement is right or not. The statement, when you talk about all fruits are vegetables, the pictorial representation should have been that this is fruits in the bigger circle, which is going to be vegetables. This is the correct representation because the statement suggests that the set fruits is entirely contained within the set vegetables. Correct? So the said fruit is entirely contained within the vegetables. Here what you can observe is that there are certain portion of vegetables, or there are certain fruits which are not within the vegetables. So the diagram for this particular question would have not been right if this would have been mentioned as some fruits are vegetables. अगर यहाँ पे लिखा होता कि some fruits are vegetables, then obviously ये जो diagram, जो pictorial representation or the Venn diagram for the statement number 1 would have been correct. But according to this particular statement, this is not at all correct. That this is not at all right, because it is saying all fruits are vegetables. It should be entirely contained within the set vegetables. The fruits should be entirely contained within the vegetables. The correct representation of the diagram would have been this. Then it is saying that no vegetable is grain. So this pictorial representation is correct. This Venn diagram is correct because there is no overlap between the circle which is representing vegetables and the circle which is representing grains. They have certain gap in between, which clearly mentions that no vegetables are grains or no grains are vegetables. Now, this means vegetables and grains does not overlap. Third statement says some grains are pulses. So some grains are pulses. This is the correct pictorial representation. So this representation, this and this are the correct method of drawing the Venn diagram in order to suggest the statement that has been provided. For your better understanding, I am just drawing this Venn diagram here itself so that you don't get confused. This is grains, and then this is pulses, and this is vegetables, this is fruits. So fruits, vegetables, grains, and pulses. This is the correct diagram, the pictorial representation. Now, based on this Venn diagram, let's try to figure out what are the conclusion that has been followed. Some pulses are not vegetables. Is this the statement true? Some pulses are not vegetables. Exactly, that is true, because there is no relation between pulses and vegetables. So the first statement obviously follows. Now the second question, the second conclusion is no fruit is grain. No fruit is grain. Absolutely true, because fruit is contained entirely within the vegetables, and there is a certain gap between vegetables and the grains. Therefore, the answer second also follows. Conclusion two also follows. The answer for this question would be both conclusion two and conclusion one and two follows. I suppose this question will have been understood by you guys, and you have drawn the correct Venn diagram, not this one, but rather this one, to suggest the inference or the representation of the statement that has been provided. Again, my dear students, we are moving to the next question. I will again give you 10 seconds to draw the diagram. So the next question that is in front of you, please answer the question. Please draw the Venn diagram according to the statement that has been provided. Statement says, some dogs are cats, all cats are tigers, and no tiger is lion. Okay? Some dogs are cats, some dogs are cats, all cats are tigers, all cats are tigers, and no tiger is lion. Okay, 10 seconds starts now. So my dear students, I suppose you have already drawn the Venn diagram for the question, where the statements are this: one circle representing dogs, another representing cats, another tigers, another lion. Let's see how the Venn diagram would look like. So I suppose you must have all drawn the Venn diagram. Some cats are dogs. There should suggest an overlap between dogs and cats. So this is dogs and cats. Again, this is right. The first diagram seems to be correct. Second says all cats are tigers. All cats are tigers. Is it inferring that all cats are tigers? No, it is actually not representing the same, because there are certain portion of cat which is outside the purview of tigers. Correct representation would have been, this is dogs, this is cats. Now it is saying all cats are tigers. So all cats, all cats, all cats. This should be all cats, and this is tiger. Why I have not crossed it directly? Because we cannot say, there is no statement as such where which we can say that dogs and tigers have any such relation. So the correct representation should be in this, and then all cats are tigers. This we have represented through this Venn diagram. This diagram actually seems to be correct. Now, first one I'm talking, not the second one. Second one is wrong. First one is correct. Now, third one is no tiger is lion. So no tiger is lion. This inference is correctly drawn from the Venn diagram that is in front of you. So now, taking that thing into suggestion, this particular Venn diagram has been drawn correctly. Now we will resort to the conclusions. So first conclusion says some dogs are not lions. Some dogs are not lions. Some dogs are not lions. Absolutely correct. There is no relation between dogs and lions. There is no relation. So first statement obviously follows. And some tigers are not dogs. Some tigers are not dogs. So now this particular statement, if you can see this particular point, what it is saying is some dogs are cats. Some dogs are cats. So some dogs are cats. There are some dogs which are cats. Now, in the same manner, it is asking whether some tigers are not dogs. Some tigers are not dogs. Since this particular statement, which is saying some dogs are cats, please understand, my dear students, it is saying that some dogs are cats. So if we say that some dogs are cat, what does that mean? It means that some cats are dogs. Correct? There are some cats which are dogs. So if we are saying some cats which are dogs, it can also be inferred as that there are some cats, which means that it cannot be inferred that all cats are dogs, because it has been clearly mentioned that some cats are dogs. It means that we cannot come to this conclusion that all cats are dogs. So if we cannot come to this conclusion that all cats are dogs, what we can infer is that there are certain cats which are not dogs, that we can confer. Yes, there are certain cats which are not which are not dogs, that we can confer? Correct. Yes or no, my dear students? Yes, we can confer because there are certain cats, because in the first statement has been mentioned that some cats are dogs, which if we go and we understand the tips where which we discuss that if some X are Y, which can inferred as some X are not Y. Okay, so taking that thing into consideration, there are certain cats which are not dogs. It means that those cats and all cats are tigers. All cats are tigers, meaning which there are certain cats which are not dogs, which are still tigers. Correct? Is it true? Yes or no, my dear student? Yes or no, my dear student? Yes, that is true, because there are certain cats which are not dogs, which can be inferred to statement number one. And then all the cats are tigers. सारी की सारी cats tigers है, ये बात तो हमारे को पक्का है, ये this is 100% sure. And we are also 100% sure from the statement number one that there are some cats which are not dogs. Why? Because the statement says that some dogs are cats. So some dogs are cat means that some cats are dogs. It also can be inferred as some cats are not dogs. Therefore, taking all these inferences into consideration, what we can assume, what we can infer is that there are some dogs which are not cats, which obviously are tigers. So therefore, there are some tigers which are not dogs, or contrary to it, there are some tigers that are not dogs. So the second statement also follows. So therefore, the answer for this question would be both conclusion 1 and conclusion 2 follows, and that is what your answer is. I suppose you have understood the question, and yes, this particular terminology is more about reference and inference. Some students might feel like that, sir, यहाँ पे तो कोई relation mention नहीं था, but you have to keenly observe. There was a relation. The relation was here, where which it was clearly mentioned that there are some dogs which are cats. There are some dogs which are cats, which are also tigers. And opposite of it, that there are some dogs which are not cats, which are still tigers. So there are some cats, there are some dogs which are not tigers, which is also correct in fairness. So therefore, my dear students, the answer for this particular question will be answer C. Both conclusion 1 and conclusion 2 follows. Now again, another question for you guys. The question is right now in front of you. I would request you to again apply your mind and draw the Venn diagram for this particular question. The statement is as follows. Statement 1 says all cars are trucks. Statement 2 says some trucks are buses. Statement 3 says no bus is a train. Depending over these statements, you have to draw a Venn diagram representing cars, trucks, buses, trains, and accordingly, we will have to figure out whether the conclusion follows from the statements or not. Your 10 seconds starts now. Please draw the Venn diagram, and then we will discuss the things accordingly. So my dear students, I hope you have drawn the Venn diagram. Let's try to figure out the conclusion, so that let's try to figure out the solution so that we can infer that what exactly is true or not. The first statement says that all cars are trucks. Is this the right description? No, absolutely not. Because from now onwards, you must have understood that whenever it is saying that all cars are trucks, the pictorial representation should have been this is cars, and then above it should be trucks. Now, this particular inference is absolutely correct, that all cars are trucks. All cars are trucks. So this is what we are inferring from the first statement. And this is entirely correct, that this suggests that the cars is entirely contained within the said trucks. Now, some trucks are buses. Now, again, this particular inference is not right, because some trucks are buses. It is not showcasing. My dear students, you have to visualize, you have to understand that how the Venn diagram should look like. आपको बहुत ही क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए कि किस तरीके से वेन डायग्राम दिखना चाहिए, ताकि आपको ये एश्योर हो जाए कि जो वेन डायग्राम है वो करेक्टली ड्रॉन है, वो कहीं भी उसमें कहीं मिस्टेक नहीं है, सो दैट इफ वी go for the conclusion depending over the Venn diagram, we should not miss that what we have already conferred from the Venn diagram. Now, some trucks are buses. Some trucks are buses. Some trucks are buses. Some trucks are buses. So this is bus and this is trucks. So whether there can be an overlap between this cars and trucks, oh sorry, cars and buses. Maybe, may not be, there can be a possibility, but from the statement given it is not showing, so that's why we will be drawing it like this. And then the third statement, no bus is a train. No bus is a train. Again, there shouldn't be any overlapping between buses and trains, so that is why this is the correct representation of the diagram, that is of the statement that is being in front of you. My dear students, if you have any confusion, just let's cross verify. All cars are trucks. All cars are trucks. This particular Venn diagram seems to be correct. Some trucks are buses. There are some trucks which are buses from here. This is absolutely correct. Now, no bus is a train. This obviously there is no bus which is train. That has been clearly shown through the difference between these two circles, which is representing buses and trains. So now the Venn diagram seems to be correct. Now, based on the Venn diagram, let's try to figure out some trains are not trucks. Some trains are not trucks. Some trains are not trucks. Absolutely, because there is no relation between train and trucks. So therefore, we can say that some trains are not trucks. Very clear, very easy. Then now some buses are not cars. Some buses are not cars. Now, obviously, we cannot come to this conclusion, my dear students, because there is no relation whatsoever that has been mentioned about cars. There are chances that it could have been inside the buses also, that there would have been a circle which would have represented all. Say the first statement says all cars are trucks, so it could have been like this also. All cars are trucks. Okay. And then we are saying some trucks are buses. So couldn't it be like this also, my dear students? Couldn't it this Venn diagram would have been like this also, where which we could have suggested that some trucks are buses. Now, this particularly cars are coming within the ambit of bus, which obviously could have been inferred, could not have been inferred, but we cannot come because we cannot assume. So we only will have to depend over the statements that has been provided. Yes, there is a relation between trucks and buses, but there is no relation whatsoever that has been mentioned in regards to the cars and buses. There is a statement which says that all cars are trucks and some trucks are buses. According to this inference, that we cannot say that some cars are buses or some cars are not buses or no car is buses, because there is no direct relation between cars and buses, my dear students. So therefore, the second conclusion, which says that some buses are not cars, we cannot conclude, we cannot say. So therefore, the answer for this particular question will be only conclusion one follows. Some cars, for some trains are not trucks. Some trains are not trucks. Obviously, we can clearly see that there is no train which is trucks. And then the second statement says that some buses are not cars. Some buses are not cars. We cannot come to this conclusion, my dear student, because there can be an inference with which the all cars are trucks. So the correct answer for this particular question will be only conclusion one follows. Only conclusion one follows, not conclusion two, because we cannot come to the conclusion neither this, neither this, neither this. The correct answer is not answer B, but rather answer A, my dear students. So I suppose you have understood the reason why is it so that the answer would be answer A and not answer B, because the conclusion cannot be assumed. The statement shows no relation between buses and cars. We can infer that all cars are trucks, and if this had been mentioned that all trucks are buses, then we could have taken into consideration that all cars or some of the cars are buses, but we cannot take that particular thing into consideration, that some of the cars are not buses, because there is no such relation that has been provided. Okay, so based on the statement, only conclusion one follows. The correct answer for this question will be answer A. Okay, my dear students. Now, let's move forward and let's try to figure out the second statement, that is question number 33. The second question, right, that is in front of you. And let's try to solve this question so that you can also understand whether this is what can be the correct answer for this particular question. The statement is right now in front of you. Again, I would like to give you 10 seconds, and you take 10 seconds of your time, draw the Venn diagram, representing apples, bananas, oranges, and grapes. Almost the same question, not a very big hustle for you. I would require you to just draw the Venn diagram and then eventually we will move forward. Okay, my dear students, let's try to analyze that what would be the correct representation. Some apples are bananas, correct. All bananas are oranges. All bananas are oranges. Some areas again coming out of it. No oranges is grape. This is the correct representation. So the correct representation would be some apples are bananas. So some apples are bananas. So some apples are bananas. This is clear. Now all bananas are oranges. So we say all bananas are oranges, and then no oranges is grape. No oranges grape. So this is the correct representation. Now let's try to figure out. Some apples are not grapes. Some apples are not grapes. Very clear. First statement follows. Some bananas are not grapes. Some bananas, obviously it is within the orange. No relation between orange and grapes. Therefore, the second statement, which says that some bananas are not grapes, are also true. The answer for this question will be conclusion 1 and 2 follows. Conclusion 1 and 2 follows. I suppose you have understood the reason. Why is it so? The answer is C, because there is no relation between apple and grapes, obviously, and again, there is no relation between banana and oranges, or sorry, and banana and grapes also. So both the statements are talking about grapes are not grapes, bananas are not grapes. Both the statements are correct because the word is not mentioned. There which there is, since there is no relation, obviously the answer will be B. And if this would have been mentioned as some apples are grapes, some bananas are grapes, the answer would have been neither conclusion 1 nor conclusion 2 follows. Okay, my dear students, I suppose you have understood the question. आपको समझ में आ गया होगा कि इसका रीजन क्या है और इसको हमने ऐसा क्यों बनाया है. चलिए, इसी चीज को, क्वेश्चंस को मद्देनजर रखते हुए आज का हम लोग लास्ट क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट करते हैं, जहां पे हम लोग फिर से सिलोगिज्म का एक क्वेश्चन को ट्राई करेंगे सॉल्व करना, एंड दिस विल बी assisting you in practicing much more about syllogism. So the last question for today's lecture that is in front of you, kindly try to solve this question based on the statement that has been provided. First statement says all rabbits are animals. Okay, no animal is a bird and some birds are fishes. Very easy question. I suppose you all will be able to draw the Venn diagram. Your 10 seconds to draw the Venn diagram starts now. So my dear students, I suppose you have already drawn the Venn diagram. Let's try to figure out that what should be the correct explanation of this Venn diagram. All rabbits are animals. This portion is outside. So this is not the correct way. What would have been the correct method of drawing the circle for this particular statement? All rabbits are animals. Instead of drawing rabbits here, the rabbits should have been inside the animals and this should have been rabbits. So let's just ignore this one and let's take this thing into consideration, that this is how the representation of animals and rabbits should look like. That all rabbits are animals. That is very true. No animal is bird. Very clear. No relation at all between them. And the third statement, which is saying that some birds are fishes. So there are some birds which are fishes, which is being represented from this particular intersection between the circle which is representing birds and the circle which is representing fishes. तो ये हम लोगों ने Venn diagram to draw कर लिया, my dear students. Now let's try to figure out what the statement says. Some fishes are not animals. Some fishes are not animals. Obviously, there is no relation between fishes and animals. So the first statement is absolutely correct. There is no default whatsoever in regards to this. Now, no rabbit is bird. No rabbit is a bird. Obviously, it is not possible because all the rabbits are contained within the circle which is representing animals. And since animals has no relation between birds, therefore rabbits also will have no relation between birds. So the second statement also follows. from so the second conclusion also follows from the statements that has been provided. So the correct answer for this question also will be both conclusion 1 and 2 follows. So my dear students, आपको we have already completed 4 questions for today, and we have tried to understand that what could be the correct answer for these particular questions. We have tried to understand that how we have to draw the Venn diagram and how we can assure that the Venn diagram is correct and the answer that are coming to be correct. So certainly in this particular question, in this particular video also, we saw that there was one question, that question number 33, where the answer was something else, and the reason that was given was something, the answer that was given was something else. The main crux is to analyze that what will be the correct answers according to the rules and not what has been provided as an answer. Because certainly certain times what happens is that even the answer that has been provided might not be correct. So based on the rules that we have studied, the 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 tips that we have provided and the types that we have studied, we have to infer that what can be the best possible answer. And that is why there were discrepancies when we were solving that particular question. But you can consider that to be perfectly correct. And that is how we have solved the next question also. And that answer has turned to be correct according to the given answers also. Venn diagram needed some correction that we have already made. And with this, we have come to the end of the today's lecture. My dear student, I hope you enjoyed today's lecture, practicing questions of syllogism along with me. And you must have gained some useful insight whenever we are going to solve syllogism question related to logical reasoning. I suppose your time efficiency is being improved day to day whenever we are solving these syllogism questions. We will again come up with another set of lecture where which we will be again practicing more questions related to syllogism, and we will gain some more insights as to what are the tricks and tips that we need to take into consideration whenever we are solving syllogism, my dear students. With this, I would like to end today's lecture series, and I wish you again the very best of luck. Till then, you all take care and bye bye.